But I just like it, so if I get a fish on, I can come over here, aim it right there, and then I can land the fish, and then I'm back.
Yeah, I've got the sticks. So YOLO Tech makes the power sticks where you can plug it into your boat, right where your light is.
Gotcha.
And it runs all day.
Yep. Yes.
Is this your first time on this lake?
This is my second time. I came here last year. It was my first time we had the opens here, the northern. So it was. I love catching smallmouth. I'm not from smallmouth country, so when I can get around them, it's my favorite. Probably one of my favorite things to do now. You know what I mean? If you're spoiled with largemouth and you don't get to fish smallmouth, then I like the smallmouth when I get a chance.
I know that the bass world is predicated on greenfish, but the brown ones, maybe they don't carry the size through most places that a green one does. But boy, they're a lot of fun.
They are.
And as a kid that grew up in the north on smallmouth, I don't fish for largemouth much because it's just not. I want to be out where those smallies are. You know, and I love it. Let me ask you a question. So last year was your first year here, and then now this year, has anything held true? Or has anything changed for you completely?
It's a little early here for the pattern that I had last year. They were really more focused on the baby perch when I was here at the end of July. Right now they're kind of doing the transition from crawfish to perch right now. And they're still eating gobies a little bit too, but I mean, every fish I've caught's been puking up crawdads. So they're definitely on that right now. I mean, I wish they were on the perch deal because I had a couple little honey hole areas I don't think nobody knows about, and that are really good off the grid. And that's the kind of spot you need to win. But I got some good stuff going on. I feel pretty dang good about this tournament. Had a hell of a practice. You know, sometimes good practices turn into a bad tournament, but hopefully this is the one that feels right. And we do the right things and make the right decisions.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's so nice to hear that because I know enough tournament guys that things can go differently, game day than practice. But if you're not on something that you have that self-confidence in, when you get to game day, you're like, you start second guessing yourself. You're like, maybe I should go here. It's nice to see when you're dialed into something that you're going full force into.
Yep. And right when I got here, sometimes practices start out a little slow. I mean, right when I got here, I started catching them. Like, wow, they're going to start eating. But I can tell, I've been here, I think, 7 days, and I can tell the pressure on a lot of the community holes. You can tell the pressure's hitting it. I mean, you get 30, 40 guys that stop on an individual spot every day, and they're throwing drop shots down in there. And these fish they're smart. They adjust to the pressure, and they move off of stuff, and they just sit there and look at your stuff. I mean, they're eating perch and gobies. I mean, they get dialed in on that bait, and if they've seen. I bet you a couple of those rock piles have seen 200-300 flatworms in front of their face.
So now, that crab bite dictates shallow and rock.
Yes.
And your perch bite would have been offshore.
Yes.
More.
Yes.
Is there a preference? I mean, so as a green bass guy, are you more dialed in when you go crawfishing for smallmouth? I mean, is it easier?
Yeah. I mean, I think, I mean, there's obviously a lot of baits, and there's, like I said, we started transitioning into the baby perch, but I have not found a school of smallmouth that are actually chasing the big perch like I did was your last year. So that option's kind of gone right now, but I don't know.
Yeah, and our shad hatch this year has not been much because we didn't have a good run of shad last year. But
we'll just back it in here and I'll put the phone on.
Oh, great.
Come back pretty far. I'm going to troll the motor off of it. One trap.
Who's cooler than me right now? Nobody. This is awesome.
See, that's what's nice about that little plug. See that? I just I had the plug out right there. Put a couple gallon in it.
Oh man. So what's going to be your key? What's going to be your key today to put yourself? And where do you have to be today?
If I can weigh 18, I can be in the top 10, and I think I can do it. I've been catching some 4.5 pounders. You know, I mean, we'll see what happens today. It's been pretty good.
Okay.
Which that's like megas here. You know what I mean?
Yo, yeah.
Do that 2 days in a row though. 20 is gonna be tough to do 2 days in a row. But...
Now, will you do nothing but brown fish this tournament?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless I get a big bag and I just want to go try to hunt a big largemouth or something.
Right.
I never caught a big one here in practice or last year, so my confidence ain't there. Which I know they're here. I mean, I know a few buddies that have caught some big largemouth and been like, you know, they feel pretty confident going hunting largemouth. I didn't build my confidence, so I'm not going to go on a wild goose chase. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I've been doing all week, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But
that's awesome.
you know what I mean? You just got to
Yep.
learn. You start running off. Like that's what I did last year on the first day. I kind of got spun out and went to a spot early in the morning. They weren't firing. Got discouraged. Went to another spot. They weren't firing. It was a timing deal. I was getting most of my bites midday on, and so I went to that spot and they weren't biting. I just I gotta go just get a couple bites and gotten that just to get by. And I lost my mind last year on the first day. But we regrouped the second day. I had like almost 16 pounds. So that was a good look, and I caught them all in about 20 minutes.
I would assume that mental portion of high level tournament fishing is far more important than how you can fish.
Yeah, it's the number one thing for sure. I feel. I mean, you know, I'm very high strung, so like I get jacked up like at say a tournament for instance, Cherokee Lake. There was a smallmouth tournament, and you know, right when I got out there, I think I caught one right off the bat, and he was just there. And then the second, like 2 or 3, I fought, and 2 of them I broke on this hook set because I was just getting too snappy. I wasn't calm.
Yeah.
And I lost 2 fish that could have helped me, and then I jumped off 3 of them that I know would have helped me and put me where I needed to be able to fish the final day. But it was still a good tournament. I learned, every one of them I learned, and that's the whole key. Like every tournament I learned something, and that's the key in this game because all these guys are the best in the world right here.
So now,
the best smallmouth fishermen in the world here.
What series do you fish besides these opens?
I do a lot of local stuff in the Midwest.
Okay.
But I dedicate myself to fish the opens, and that's what I'm doing. And I wouldn't be able to do it with everybody that helps me, my sponsors and different people. From Skeeter Boats, Humminbird, Minn Kota, Douglas Rods. I mean, they line me up with amazing rods. I've never had a lineup of rods in my life. Like I've always had one of this, one of this, one of that.
Yep.
And now I'm like dialed in with the right equipment. It feels good. You gotta have the right equipment to play ball,
Absolutely.
And everybody I got, from Brenton, Brenton, they were one of my key sponsors, the Bass Tank. I mean, I got a bunch of them. Swamp Cracker, Gorilla Grip. A bunch of people came together and really helped me do this because without doing it, it'd be 30 grand out of your own pocket. So I had people that believed me.
Rods are a big deal. We're here talking because we're Douglas guys, but I've been a guide my whole life, and so it's been I've had equipment nice enough that I don't mind getting broke every day because clients are hellacious on equipment.
Yep.
And now you're right, it's different. The right tools. What tradesman can do his job without the right tools?
Yeah, it's crazy. They got a dang rod for every situation, so you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? If you want something, some rods they don't have a certain you know, style of rod that fits this application. They got everything. I mean,
Yes.
they really do.
And I've only fished a couple of them so far, and they're like.
This is my first year using them, and I love them. I mean, I'm just telling you right now. I mean, I've used a lot of rods. They're comparable to the best brands in the world.
Yeah,
so
yeah, agreed. That X Matrix series is just
I feel like they're right there. Okay. Oh, good.
You got it, brother.
Here's the deal. We had an amazing day. We could have had a mega bag, but you know what? I got to fish clean one of these times, and we will have one. But I got to be happy with this. You know, this is my second time here. Had a good game plan, had a good tournament. But so far, I mean, this is going to put me probably, I don't know, top 30, top 40 maybe.
12-14 for you today. 12-14 got you in 48th place. Thanks, Tom. Good luck.
What's the cut second day?
What's that?
What's the cut second day?
10. You got to be in the top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah. I'd need 20.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Got 3 in the bag today.
That's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? If I would have been right where I wanted,
Check in at 8-13 for you today. 13
then you can go weigh that again, and then you're there.
Yeah. Yep.
Preston,
Yep.
City.
I didn't even get a fish 3/4 of my stuff. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
How far into the day was
It's a
it?
lot different tomorrow, huh?
How far into the day was it before you ran into them?
All day long. I mean, we were at them right off the
Oh, right off the bat.
first flip. We thought,
That's a nice feeling.
yeah,
That's a nice feeling.
Probably, it wasn't like the third or fourth flip. I flipped in there to one place, and then went to the next.
That's
Got one, and then I went to a spot that I never fished, but it looked right. They were loaded on it. That's pretty much a limit there.
Oh, really? Both of you on this?
I lost one to have them, and then they scattered, and the sun got up enough that it was shallow enough, and I got over top of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, like you said, clean.
Yeah.
One up, Chancy. He's got 5 in the bag. It's like a good day, Chancy.
Hey, it was a wonderful day out there. Could have been better, but you got to fish clean in these things. You know what I'm saying?
5 fish and still fish good enough to be inside the top 10 with 17.7. Dumps you all the way up to 9th place. Good job, absolutely. Top 10, 9th place, 17 pounds, 7 ounces. Chancy Walters. He's in all 9 this year. He's a good tournament, setting up to be a good tournament for Chancy. We'll see what his day number 2 has in store for him. Right now, he's in 9th place. Good job.